Bah, zippity bam, bam. Hey everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Cracked Palantir. I'll be your host and game master for this episode 168 of Brise's Tale. As always, my good buddy Max is here to play the beautiful and talented paladin Brise. Max, why don't you say hello to the lovely people?
Everybody, we're having a wonderful evening. Welcome to this episode of Karandrin.
That's right. So we've had, I apologize for canceling last week. I was just too out of it to be able to manage a game, but we are back and better than ever. And we sort of came to the end of one sequence of events in trying to investigate what's going on with a tribe of giants in a nearby valley on behalf of Lady Miagral, which is the goblin lady and ruler of this county. And so Max, Brise, I should say, was there trying to overhear anything about a recent meeting between what appeared to be two clans of giants. Lady Crom's, as you see down there in the caption, and another unnamed clan of giants, apparently somewhere to the east. Now, I'll let Max fill you in on how that came to end.
Spectacularly. We did overhear quite a bit from the giants. We learned that the House of Lady Crom has met with a tribe whose leader is known as Gursai, and mostly for the ultimate goal of fostering more children, more heirs to their own tribes. I suppose they already have a few apparently giant pregnancies going on. We'll see how that turns out, I guess, in 2 years.
Yeah.
However long giants take. But anyway, we overheard that, but we were also trying to find a secret entrance to the mines of the giants, of Lady Crom's castle, where we know that several great host of goblin slaves are being kept, toiling away for the giants. And I was aided by a druid by the name of Sheercall. And we searched for this thing for a long time. Most of the time we were pursued by giants. They have their leader, Crom, has an exceptional skill of mastery over magic, I should say. And they able to detect when we used magic. They were prevented our teleport off the mountain. It was pretty harrowing trying to get out of there safely. So eventually we made it. We were trying to get away from the mountain as far as possible, out of the effect of the dimensional band that was preventing our teleport. Luckily, while we were traveling, two of my allies, the Fae people known as the Trinidas, and another type of Fae known as the Flower Children, opened up a portal, and they have the ability to teleport to me, as well as to teleport me and my allies away. So it was just a very lucky coincidence that they appeared at that time and agreed to teleport us off the mountain. Apparently their magic their arts are less affected than Sheercall's and Brise's. So yeah, and it didn't succeed in freeing the slaves, but we did succeed in living. Perhaps another journey to Lady Crom's territories in order at a later date, or maybe we need to do some more reconnaissance and see if there's a safer way we can teleport onto the mountain without her detecting us. So
Yeah, and presumably Lady Crom is going to be on guard, on alert for a while.
Right.
Um,
Well, in fact, we also got a message. We overheard from one of the giants that Crom had been in contact with Fraldrim, which is Miagral's chief magician, and suspected someone sent by her was on the mountain, which was indeed the truth. So there's some kind of relationship between Crom and Fraldrim that, seems like they've been long-standing rivals. This isn't anything new.
yeah, there seems to be some sort of understanding between those two lords
Right.
or ladies. So
Perhaps we strike a bargain. You free your goblin slaves, bring them to Miagral's keep, and we won't send a bunch of armies to your mountain.
right. Well, could you imagine army trying to make it up that mountain, though? I mean, geez, what a wreck.
Not a good time.
No, heavy casualties there.
A lot of twisted.
Yeah. So you got back to the few hundred yards within near Lady Miagral's keep, and with your with Sheer Call, and I could change that. And it's late afternoon, sundown, and you and Sheer Call are shook up and just relieved to be safe, even though your goals were frustrated. And so, so that leaves you to make a roll for me.
And that roll is 35.
Sheer Call, who is for any newcomers, Sheer Call is a lizard folk, almost 7 feet high, and she long tail, long snout, and she nods to the sky and says, "One of your great birds that I've heard of in this region must be on the hunt." And you follow her gaze, and there's a great eagle circling. You know the goblins are going to be very uneasy about that, given their distaste for great eagles.
Right. Is he circling around the keep, seems like?
Does seem like.
Okay. So I say to Sheer Call, I think it might actually be a messenger, the way it's circling around the keep here. I'll see if I can wave it down a safer distance from the keep.
What should Sheer Call do?
You should stay with me. If you don't, she's reacted pretty badly to the past encounters. So if you don't mind giant birds, you can stay with me. Else you might want to make yourself hidden.
Tell her maybe to put away weapons and just not react.
Right. Just stay calm and stay hidden if you don't want to.
She says, she seems very nervous at your warning. And so she's like, if it's all the same to you, I shall stay here.
Okay. Say then I'll go down slope just a little ways and try to hail the eagle and come back up afterwards.
She nods. The bird begins tracking you down slope. No question, it's moving off from the keep.
Right. So I'll, once I'm far enough away, I'll just, wave my arms, look up at him, give him the bird.
Man. Fire trucks going at it outside.
Oh yeah, I can hear.
Swooping downward and downward. Let me see here.
I forgot to check if we're live. I'm assuming we are. We are. Not.
There it is. Roll for me.
42.
As it approaches, blonde coloration becomes more and more evident. You're thinking this could be Rhea, the of Korakile's group.
Is it Jora's daughter or niece?
I think it's niece.
Okay. I couldn't tell you. You have his eyes.
Give those back. I love that joke.
Thanks, Obi-Wan.
She lands. Bows to you. She says, Manling, we've had news for you for days, but saw you on the mountain of the giants, and there we do not dare approach. Our people wished to help you when you were having your troubles, but we could see no way through to do so. Korakile sends his regards and word of news in the valleys for you and for your wizard.
Okay.
A string of green lights march three valleys to the east. They march through the valley and disappear. We fear that they are unnatural. Our eyes cannot pierce the darkness that surrounds them. They have shown up again last night, starting from the place where they disappeared. And continuing to march. 10 lights moving at a man's pace in a line. Their passing leaves no mark that we can find. The vegetation seems undisturbed, uncorrupted, nor do they leave footprint. Initially, they marched north. Then they marched due west toward the keep, but they are still many days away coming through the valley.
Okay.
We'd seek the advice of your wizard. Because as it marches west, of course, it does approach our domain as well.
Right.
Is this phenomenon familiar to you? Roll for me.
86.
There is a some sort of spirit serpent
Hmm.
of considerable length, dotted with green scales, that you heard a story of overheard a story of, it might be a better term. It sleeps during the day in its own realm, and that might explain its disappearance.
Right.
But the creature is believed to be very evil.
I guess by being spiritual, would that explain it not leaving any tracks?
Yes, it may be ephemeral.
Right.
Things just pass right through it.
Okay.
Do you want to share that information or wait till you confer with Fraldrum?
Yeah, I'll share that. I say, I know of a creature, a spiritual serpent-like creature, and explain that information. Then say, but you aren't able to see it at all. You say darkness surrounds it.
That is right. If it was near vegetation, that vegetation would disappear to the extent that this aura or effect clouded our vision. As it passed away from that area, then we could see beyond it.
Interesting.
And the vegetation would again be revealed to us, but our sight cannot pierce it.
Mm-hmm.
And when it disappears, the lights disappear. We
Right.
can see all the vegetation as though it has simply vanished, as simply the creature has vanished.
Right.
The entities have vanished.
And do they always seem to, stay the same distance from each other? Or does the distance between the lights vary, like people catching up or lagging behind?
When I observed them, they were very steadily spaced, and that spacing remained consistent.
Right. And did they ever seem to stop or falter at any point?
No,
Okay.
not in my watching. I did not talk to my brethren.
Okay. Interesting. I tell Rhea that I will speak with Fraldrum on the matter. Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
When do you think you will have word? I am uncomfortable hanging around the Goblin Keep.
I can try to get word to you tomorrow.
Shall I meet you here?
Yeah, let's say tomorrow in the evening. I will meet you in a similar spot and tell you what I know.
I will return at sundown and keep an eye out.
Okay.
You have the eagle's thanks. She launches herself into the air. Always impressive. You feel the beat of those wings in the air pushing you back. Yeah, that's it. I was playing with my niece Elle today, and she had a baby with a pacifier. And every time she took the pacifier out, I had the baby go crazy, and she would just laugh. Oh, it's a pacifier. You got a pacifier.
For a moment, I thought you meant a real baby, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Shaken baby syndrome. It's a
the baby stopped moving at some point. I don't know.
real pacifier. I'm excellent at childcare. I really am. I'm an expert.
You really know how to shut them up.
Right.
What I know about the green lights. There are 10 green goblins marching through the valley.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So yeah, then I'll walk back up the slope to Sheer Call, the spot where she would be. So Azrael is with me as well. Hopefully he doesn't be spooked by the eagles and try to pounce.
Yeah.
Maria.
The ultimate pouncing lesson.
Dogs go after prey bigger than them. I don't know if cats do. I think they're a little more sensible.
Have you seen those videos though, where cats are going like toe to toe with full-grown alligators?
Oh my god!
Because they're so fast, the alligator doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
and so like the alligator creeps forward, and the cat's like, "What I tell you?" The alligator's like, "Jeez, what the hell?" It's just really.
I guess
funny.
they do have that going for them.
Yeah. Sheer Call is out on the road, not in your little tucked away location where you teleport.
Okay.
2 guards kind of surrounding her. Goblin guards. You approach the guards, sort of move to include you in the conversation. Sheer Call gestures to you and turns to you to kind of, get her out of a bind.
I don't know who she is.
Saving money at the keep. No guests tonight.
Not another mouth to feed. I'll step in and just close to her and say she's with me. There's no concern here. We'll need I'll just say we'll need requesting an escort into the keep, and if we could provide lodgings for my guest here.
One of the goblins gestures to the other and says he'll take you to Athene or one of her representatives. You guys walk back, the goblin's leading. Sheer Call apologizes and says, I stepped out on the road. I thought I saw a glimmer of something on the road. And as I was examining it, these guards came down. They must have spotted me from the keep. They seemed nervous, kept looking at the sky. Like, oh, they had more men on the walls than normal.
Right.
You guys make it to the keep. One guy stops off and heads up the wall. The other guy takes you to Athene's offices. Drops you off at some functionary's desk.
Mm-hmm.
Functionary nods to you. It's a young female goblin. You explain you need lodgings for her. Presumably something near you, so you can be a guide to her. She says she'll have to clear it with Athene. And she turns to your guests and says, I mean no offense, but to whom do you hold loyalty?
Say Mirgrol.
Exactly. According to my counsel, the answer is Mirgrol. She says, I only have...
Say Aldrich.
That's right. Saving money again. I can see your tactic here. Just uh, she says, I have sworn allegiance to no lord of these lands. My only allegiance is to my friend Brise here, who has helped me in a troubled spot. Um, she nods, gives you guys gestures for you to take a seat, and she goes deeper into the offices, headed toward Athene's. Athene, if people don't remember, so the chief of staff for this goblin keep. She's an elf, isn't she? Is she an elf or is she a high woman? I can't remember.
She's an elf, yeah.
She's an elf.
Yeah.
Quite formidable. And when she leaves, Sheercall says, I feel like I've put you in a spot. That wasn't my intention.
I say, not at all. I've done many favors for Mia Grawl. I've served her well. Should be in my, purview to at least secure you lodgings. I guess in my power, I should say.
Yeah, sort of. Not beyond your scope.
Yeah.
Several minutes pass. The woman returns. She says, you have been granted lodgings, Lady Sheercall. I will take you there. Lady Brise, if you wish to make your way to Athene's offices, she is ready to receive you and hear your report.
Okay. Yeah, I just so I'll just bid farewell to Sheercall, and if you need anything, they should take good care of you. I don't know how familiar she is with being in a keep like this. Does she seem out of sorts? Or
a little bit? Yeah.
So I say they should give you anything you need, be able to take care of you, but I shouldn't be far away also if you have any requests.
And the perfunctory tells you that the functionary tells you that she will be in the quarters right across from yours.
Okay, perfect.
Not just in the same wing, but straight across. Off they go. I assume you make your way to Athene's.
Mm-hmm. Try to make myself look as presentable as I can after spending 3 days on the rugged mountainside.
Hauling butt and hiding in grass and brush.
That 30 exhaustion.
Yeah. You're like, I'm tired of talking, to be honest with you.
Hold on a second.
That's right. I've got some notes here. Hang on. Let me refer to my notes. I'm just too tired. So. You find your way fine, and the guards are there. They look warily at your weapons, and you sort of gesture like, hey, we've done this before. And you're admitted in. Athene is brooding over a map on one of her side tables. She waves you in absently, calls for a refreshment. Guard leads you in, nods to the request, and leaves. She gestures to a chair across from her. She's sitting by the hearth.
Okay. Gladly take the seat.
Let's call her up so I know what she would and would not do. There she is. Move that over there. Oh yeah, interesting group that she's got working for her. Lady Mia Grawl has working for her. She, as you're about to sit, she shakes her head and stands. She goes, "Forgive my manners," and she takes your hand and clasps it, gives you a little bow, then gestures to the seat. Um, says it's been a flustering day. Eagle in the sky, which always sets these lads off. I'm glad Lady Mia Grawl is away. She would have doubled the guard again.
There's only so many times you can double a guard.
Right.
It's like folding a piece of paper. So,
right. Isn't there a mathematical max? Didn't they figure out I forget.
oh, like atoms, like
yeah, it's like before the thickness just becomes impossible.
Yeah.
I forget. I thought there was some math behind that. But she says, "I hope you had good luck on the mountain, though you seem a little careworn, if you don't mind me saying."
Yes. Well, we learned quite a few things. One is that Lady Crom keeps a group of goblin slaves, potentially from Mia Grawl's, domain, working in her mines. I met an adventurer who was seeking to find a secret entrance to free those slaves.
The Sith woman.
Yes. Yeah. And so thought it would be a good opportunity to both, do some good and also get information on the giants. But we failed to find the entrance. We were kind of chased all over the mountain. We definitely made it out of there closer than we would have liked. But I did find some information from eavesdropping on the patrols about the nature of the meeting with the tribes. And so I go into detail about what I know about the
swapping of mates.
Versailles, how he comes from a tribe where they all live in mansions. So they seem to be more potentially more powerful, I guess, or more well off than Crom's, and mainly for the goal of fostering a new generation of giants.
It would bring those two houses closer together as well.
Right.
I'll see what records we have on this Gersai to see if we've had any dealings with them in Mia Graw's time or her father's.
Right. Several valleys to the east. Larger clan than Crom's, yeah.
At least they're further away. That's something. How many slaves do we know?
What was the number Sheer Call said? My notes. Slave appears 6 times in my notes. At least 24.
I hate to be a pessimist, but if the two of you barely survived getting off the mountain, I don't know how we're to rescue 24.
Agreed.
As just as the cause is. And you see, we can't be caught. We can't increase tension between this house and Lady Crom's.
And without arts being able to be used on the mountain either, that makes it a difficult escape
Fraldrum is in-house for the next week or so, I will consult with her. I hate to leave those poor souls in the hands of the giants, but they are giants. And that mountain is well guarded.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever plan will have to be a very cunning one.
I also mentioned that, also discovered that Crom has some goblins serving her, patrolling the mountain as well. So any goblin we do encounter on the mountain, we obviously can't trust.
Traitors to their own kind. The goblins take it as a matter of, just take it in stride that the best offer is the one you should accept. But slavery, surely that should touch them somewhere, but rarely does it. We can't have you get caught. It would only be the slightest pressure of a thumb on you to get you to admit that you're working for Lady Mugral, whatever your good intentions might be. The 2 pulverized legs would have you singing in no time. You're right. The ability not to use magic really does hinder us on the mountain.
It's interesting what the source of Crom's power, if she is just naturally talented or if there's any magic item that gives her, such powers.
There are tales of giants who can wield magic, both male and female. Some it is a matter of natural learning and study. Others it is an item that they were gifted.
Mm-hmm.
What the truth is for any of these, and for Lady Crom in particular, I simply don't know. But this Gerside bears looking at. And maybe we can reach to neighboring counties and get information about that individual as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if they've never heard of Gerside, then perhaps we've can deepen our alliance with those counties that touch his land.
Sure.
Well, you must be exhausted. I'm sure you've heard we've granted lodgings for your friend.
Mm-hmm. There is one other thing, more pressing concern. I guess, does Athene know I talk with the Great Eagles? Sure.
That's a good question.
You must know Fraldrum does.
That's true. And it probably wouldn't bother her if you revealed it.
Yeah. So I say that the Great Eagle who was circling overhead, I managed to hail them, further from the keep. And she had told me about a disturbing sight she saw in the valley of 10 strange green lights, several days away from the keep, but heading in this direction. Traveling only by night, something unnatural and disguised by darkness that their eyes cannot pierce.
It sounds like one of the great spirit snakes. An Eshul.
Okay.
She names it an Eshul. Eshull.
E-S-H-U.
I rolled like a 160. She had heard of them before.
I used to ride them when I was a kid.
That's right.
It's a lot of fun.
You get a big terranium. Oh, they're the best. Just feed them a human soul every once in a while. They're just... I don't think it's a threat to us, unless something is summoning it. Did the movement seem steadily in one direction?
They said it was moving north and then changed direction toward the west, toward the keep.
It will hunt sentient beings, and they will also hunt other spirits. More benevolent spirits tend to be their prey.
Interesting. Even in the afterlife, there's a whole food chain.
That's right.
I say, or I ask, would it be disguised by darkness, though, such a creature? They described it almost as an illusion. They couldn't see when they got close to the lights.
You would have to be within 30 feet to be able to see the creature in full. Otherwise, yes, my understanding is they shroud themselves in a impenetrable darkness.
Okay.
Here, I don't think even temple magic can dispel their darkness. And that's saying something.
Wow.
I know it'll mean little to them, but tell your eagle friend that at least someone in the castle appreciates their notifying us. I'll send a token of thanks also to Sheercall for her helping you escape.
Well, I'll keep quiet. I do say, should the eagles act at all or let the creature pass through their valleys?
You'd have to talk to Fraldrum. I don't know that an eagle can affect them.
Okay. So I'll send word to Fraldrum in the morning then.
Well, you've done well. We'll talk more with Fraldrum about how we might rescue these poor souls from the slave pits of the giants. But I don't want you to get your hopes up. And you should pass on the same to Sheercall. Surely she's seen how well guarded that mountain is.
Oh, yeah.
Making it down with 24 malnourished and overworked goblins. I don't know how we can effect a rescue.
Hey, kitty. Oh, man. She just farted in here. Oh. All the time. So cute and so stinky. It's ridiculous.
That's what Obi-Wan says about me. That's what she says about me.
It's stinky.
Or is there anything else that you need to bring up with Athene?
No, I mean, there's the Uthnorn, but that I think is more of a topic for Fraldrum anyway. Not of the pressing a matter, so I'll save that for the morning.
Okay. So you take your leave and head back to your quarters, I assume.
Yes.
For
For
passing,
a very nice rest.
Yeah. Passing through, you can see there's or increased activity in the courtyard and so on. People scouring the skies. There are easily double the men on the ramparts, armed with bows and crossbows. Most especially longbows for their greater reach. But you look about and don't see, eagles, which is, of course, your hope. Certainly was the plan. So you make it to your quarters. Sheercall's door is open, and she has been well fed. She's eating at a table. She left her door open, presumably so she could see you. Mm-hmm. She waves you in.
They just gave her a torch, and she's just eating the moths that gather around it. Oh, no. This is great.
That's hilarious. Little tongue flicking out. She rises as you come in, gestures for a seat at her little rolling table they brought her food in on, and pours you some wine. And she says, "You have a very good position here. I can tell they think highly of you." The meat, though overcooked as your type likes to do, is very well seasoned.
I say, seasoned or not, it's still food, and I'll sit down.
Servant sees you head in those quarters, brings plate, cutlery, another goblet. It's nice to have at least hot food, even if it is just food. And you guys, really tuck in. Sheercall asks if the meeting was everything you'd hoped it'd be.
Yeah. I just told her everything that we know.
Well, except for one point of disappointment, right?
Well, right, and I'll say, though, she does caution our hopes of trying to rescue these goblin slaves. Even if we did manage to free them, she says, I don't think there's any resources in the keep we could provide to even help them escape off the mountain.
Her shoulders droop. They can't leave their own kind trapped by those monsters. What of the eagles? Would they be willing to help?
The eagles wouldn't. I don't think they would dare interfere with the giants. It's probably one of the threats in this valley that could actually
deter them.
Yeah, do a number on them.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a goblin slingshot? I mean, a giant slingshot. It's not a pretty picture.
Giant baseball player.
That's right.
Look through Brise's character sheet. See how she'd kind of, because she would probably be torn as well, leaving these poor guys here.
Yeah, I don't see anything that.
Yeah. We always talk about Brise as moral, but she's not, to a fault, right?
Right.
She would say, there's other good to do in the world, right?
Right.
perhaps one day, Crom's house would fall under other circumstances. There are other giant tribes we know about.
Could we turn one giant tribe against another?
That's interesting and dangerous. I say Athene mentioned about trying to contact our neighboring counties to learn more about this Gursai and what his tribe is like. Perhaps there could be some advantage we find there to use.
Of course, I suppose even if we succeeded and pitched the two tribes against each other, how will we hold a tribe to their promise to release the slaves?
Right. I say also, if only we knew more about Crom and the source of her power, being able to use magic on the mountain, use magic against the giants would be, a boon indeed. But as it stands now, there's little we can do against her. She's just more powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if she's more powerful than Fraldrum, than the chief wizard here.
Yeah, it's a tough call, and even if they're equal, that doesn't do you any good.
Right.
One's equal with a small goblin army, and the other one's equal with a small army of giants, and a hell of a stronghold. Barring, magic out of the picture.
Right.
A mountain stronghold with no real roads. Geez. It was difficult enough for you two to make it through and across and
Right.
maneuver it all. Sheercall sort of leans back and is, chewing on a bone and is just sort of lost in thought. You continue to eat and soak in the warmth of a fire and just the knowledge of your safety. You think back, you realize that in crossing the courtyard, when you would cross a shadow of a building, you would jump. And you realize I'm really been affected by these giants. I'm just really on edge. So if you want, we'll take a break and we'll come back and see if anything else needs to be said here. And if not, then we'll retire for have your characters retire for the evening, and then we'll go from there. So,
excellent.
Guys, if you just give us a few minutes, we're going to go refill our drinks and stretch our legs. So I hope you take the time to do the same, but we'll be back with you guys in just a second or two. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get Max back here. There he is. I told you he wouldn't leave. Despite all our hopes, he wouldn't leave.
My glasses left me though. So I'll have to do the rest of the stream with me squinting at.
That's right. So anything else that needs to be said?
I'll ask her about the snake. I said, have you heard of a creature called I already forgot the name of it.
A shawl?
Ishol. I feel I've gotten worse at like remembering fantasy names. I don't know. Or names in general, I guess. It's just getting older. Great spiritual snake creature made up that shines green lights into the sky.
She shakes her head. She says such spirit creatures are very common in her own people's belief system. And she certainly dealt with her share of them, but that is not one that she knows.
Well, don't worry about it. Not one headed this way. There's not an unstoppable spirit snake.
That's right. Of enormous size. I didn't even think of that detail. And voracious appetite.
It loves lizard people.
Oh my God. It's like jerky. It's just terrific. So.
Okay. Then end the conversation there. I'll retire and get ready for bed.
Yeah, you're pretty bushed. It's be an early bedtime for you, but you do not care. Just comfortable bed, warm fire. All right, so let's do your 3 rolls.
39.
No dreams of significance.
85. And 22.
Wake up very late in the day. The sun is almost at the noon hour.
Oh my God.
You have zero motivation today.
How is my exhaustion fully recovered?
Yes.
Excellent.
You were just spiritually worn out.
Spiritually worn out, as in any special kind of fatigue?
Travel? No, just travel worn. You know what I mean? Like you're fine to do nothing today.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can tell you're still just very pent up.
Right.
Just the being in the shadow of the giants was just a lot more anxiety ridden than you expected.
Right.
Sure call was more what's the word, acute, right? She would seize up.
Right.
And you just took it in stride, or so you thought, but it was a lot weighing on you. Took it in giant stride. And how do we go? So yeah, you're in no rush to do anything. There is a note under your door. It's from Shirkal. She writes thanking you for whatever it is that you must have said to Athene that got her her lovely serving platter. She thinks it's just beautiful, and it will certainly be a token of this adventure, for as long as she lives. Um,
With the joke, like, foreigners, like, they don't understand, our gifts to them. It's like, oh, thank you. The shield will serve me nicely.
exactly.
So flat, though.
Right.
How I hold it, just
Clear. Yeah. It's clearly to be used against Medusa and shine back the.
very well polished.
She also mentions that she had a very interesting conversation with Fraldrum, who passed by this way
Okay.
while her door was open. And so you open your door, and Shirkal just keeps the door open to know when you're awake and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she is she rises when she sees you across the hall. She's positioned her chair near the low fire. Fires tend to be bigger the deeper in the keep you go because of the chill from the mountain. You guys tend to have smaller fires because you've got the benefit of sunshine and open windows.
Mm-hmm.
But not surprisingly, she likes her warmth. She says, "You slept longer than I did."
Indeed. I've heard you've already met with Fraldrin before me.
She's an interesting soul. She is not very hopeful about freeing the slaves. She's going to put more thought to it. But how to rescue so many against such a well-guarded area in such rugged terrain? It does occur to you that if you could recruit the flower people, but boy, that's a lot of souls to keep calm.
I was also thinking like having 24 of them stay calm, being teleported through the green realm. Like,
Yeah.
it might be less risky for them to go down the mountain,
Yeah.
on foot. Because Sheercall is, used to magic and used to,
The unexpected.
beings.
Yeah.
But keeping 24 goblins quiet, and I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I discourage Sheercall even, like, for her own well-being.
Yeah.
It's a tough.
I mean, would you want someone to have stopped you? That's kind of an interesting way of looking at it.
Right.
Someone coming to you and saying, "This is impossible." And of course, it can always be one of your back burner items, right? We're always trying to think of a way to get them out.
Right. If we come across something later on that's like, this is perfect solution. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And as your experience grows and as you gain new allies and so on, maybe there's something there.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Here's something interesting. I know the dimensional band, right? I would imagine, teleports and possibly portals as well cannot be opened. But if you made a portal the size of a human, a giant, that's basically like a mouse hole, right? A giant won't be able to come through. That'd be an interesting way to, if we could find the secret entrance, put a portal right there. Even if the giants were alerted to it,
Right.
What could they do about it?
Right. It's and you don't want to put that to the test.
Right. Exactly. There is no testing, and there's just production, and that's it.
Yeah. if she can't, let's say Lady Crom can't enter the portal, can't widen the portal, whatever, right?
Right.
But what if she traces the portal and just teleports to wherever you guys wind up? Jeez. 30-foot high, pissed off, magic wielding giant. And you've got 24 civilians to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Jeez.
Well, she's got 10 toes. I mean, 24 goblins. Give them each a sword. Toes are for balancing. If you don't have toes.
That's right. That's right.
That's
So how does Lady Meagre's keep get destroyed? Well, we knocked down a wall when we chopped off the toes of a giant. So yeah, it's a difficult bit.
Right. I say, well, I tell her that, a solution may come to us in time. For now, we can rest and recuperate. And
I'll have to set out soon, though, and report back to my employer.
Okay.
I wish the news were better. Perhaps I'll tell him he'll have to simply seek more powerful help to contend with such a force.
Maybe we should remarry. Our new family.
That's right.
Join Lady Crom.
Yeah. Oh,
Lady
man.
Crom, have you ever thought about allying with a demon?
Exactly.
Great things can come.
Uh,
She carry many magic items.
volatile magic items, Yeah, she says, if you would like to join her for a meal, she's only breakfast lightly, and that was a couple hours ago. She thought about ringing for more food if you'd like to join her.
Sure. Did Fraldrum mention anything about a meeting with her? I would need to talk to her today.
She did not, though she did say that she was going to speak again to Athene later this evening and discuss any other ideas that they might have.
Well, yeah, I'll send Fraldrum a note before we breakfast about how much have we talked to Fraldrum about the Uthnorn? I don't think anything. We've just talked about the crown or the nine-fingered candle.
Right.
So I will send her a note saying that information on the artifact we've been seeking, as well as something strange in the valley. If we could meet at some point today.
Off the note goes.
And then we'll
have an early lunch brought in. Shirkal is clearly very, very seduced by the nicer things in life. She's,
man, why did I become a druid?
Right, sleeping outside all the time. To hell with that,
Berries. That's not good.
She does show you the silver serving tray. It's a little overdesigned for your taste. You really kind of have to hide your distaste for it.
Yeah.
But it is very high quality. It is very. It's just so ornate. You're just like, whoa. But it's silver. depicts mountain scenery with a village at its base. Doesn't look like Ballerbrie, but just some theoretical village. Um, she wraps it lovingly back in the cloth she was given for it, and puts it with her gear. Lunch arrives. Note from Fraudrum arrives. Tells you it might be late evening before she can get to you. She's going to have another meeting with Athene, and then she'll come see you.
I was thinking, I guess Shirkarl already talked with Fraudrin, but wonder if she would be interested in staying at the keep for any amount of time, learning. I know she's interested in learning magic. Perhaps Fraudrin's magic's different though than her own.
Yeah, you don't get the impression that Fraudrin is druidic,
right?
Which you know that druidic arts is at least next door to temple arts.
Okay.
But that is not to say they couldn't teach her things about magic items, runes, things that are potions, things that are sort of agnostic, if you will.
Right.
Certainly.
double pun there. Agnostic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just throw it out there, like, if you ever wanted to stay at the keep for any length of time, I'm sure Fraudrin would be. I'm sure Fraudrin would appreciate an apprentice, someone to help her out in her studies, and an opportunity for you to learn.
That's tempting, but I feel I have much more exploring of the world to do. She turns the conversation to actually how you got involved with Mia Grawl, and sort of because you feel sort of bedded down, right? You feel settled, and are you going to hold anything back other than maybe Kralum?
Yeah. I'll mention Adabir, a man interested in demons, researching demons, he suggested coming here. Mia Grawl was an old friend of his, and over time I just became, ingrained in her service.
Even the soldiery seems to like you. I've heard guards walking the halls, and I took a turn in the courtyard, and they seem to think that you're quite the deadly operative. A lot of mystery surrounds your exploits and what takes you from the castle and brings you back again. What your adventures and missions must be. I hear you've been taking spear throwing as well. It seems to humanize you in their eyes, take some of the mystique away, that you could be taught something. Geez, I keep rolling double aughts. This is crazy.
For what? Just her conversation?
Yeah, just like things that she has to tell you.
Right.
And
then the other day, I saw this rock, and it was really interesting. It was like this other rock that I saw.
It's like talking to Elle.
These goddamn druids.
Nature this, nature that.
No, I say that it's definitely an unusual place I've found, but it seems to welcome me.
And you're clearly fond of the goblins.
Yes.
I find them a ruthless lot, but less so than my own people, so I have little to complain about.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'm trying to think what that double ought should be for. If it has to be something significant.
Yeah. It's really one of
There's
those things,
there's
I guess.
apparently um, a worker here. It was unclear about who they were referring to. Someone called Tanzot, if the name means anything to you.
Hmm.
Um, he's apparently very interested in you. I don't know if you pursue romance the way that we do, but he's been asking a great deal of questions about you of late.
I'm sorry. Where did you hear about this Tanzon fellow?
Just in the courtyard, I was walking beyond the courtyard, really. I was walking in the rock garden. I hear it's a place you're fond of. And two guards were taking a break smoking pipes. Apparently, one of them sees Tanzot quite regularly.
Um, as in sees him, meets with him, or sees him passing by?
Oh, I wasn't clear. Is that important?
Hmm. I guess I probably trust her. Basically, we've saved each other's lives. So
Well, certainly you trust her not to lie for no reason.
right. Yeah. Also, probably is important for her to know is that Tanzont is the chief wizard of a neighboring lord, Algrit, a long-standing rival of Miagral. Um, my bet is that he is uh, spying at best um, when he's asking about my whereabouts. It's concerning that the guards talk so openly.
Some of those rock sculptures are quite high, and maybe they didn't see me.
Hmm.
I did not mean to weigh your day down. A spy. Why would they spy on you?
Um, I guess how do I explain it to her? Hmm. Yeah, it probably goes back to Adabir, right? So, um, I guess just Algrit is and Mirgral are. Algrit's very keen on using any advantage he can get against Mirgral. I think they suspect me to have some, knowledge of her true plans, not her true plans, but you know,
Any plans,
yeah,
really?
plans that she has or any weaknesses they could exploit.
This conversation sounded as though it was very recent.
Hmm.
Does this Tanzot and Algrit, do they know of Lady Crom?
I mean, they must. Their domain right to the east. Surely they would have some, maybe not as intimately as Miagral does, but must be aware of their presence. Although I guess I don't know because if they're in the wilderness.
That would be a dangerous ally.
Mm-hmm.
Although, suppose some of the enslaved goblins were Algrit's people. Would he act?
Yeah, I don't really know what type of person is Algrit. Did I ever learn that?
Um,
I know about Algrit's his son, right?
son or cousin? I forget.
Boson, his name is, I think. Boson? Algrit's one of those names that appears like all over my notes. It's hard to know when I find.
Yeah, and you must not have ever met Algrit because I don't even have an entry for him
Right.
in the
I don't know if I'd
database.
ever get to meet him, right? Like
Right.
if I'm in his domain, it's probably not willingly. Yeah. So I just tell her I really don't know much about his personality, whether he would, whether he has such scruples or not.
Yeah.
I will say that. Well, maybe I'll leave that out of the picture. I don't know. I don't know what Mealraw would do with this information. 24 of her, people enslaved.
Well, I don't wish to overstay my welcome here by involving myself in court politics. But if any word could be put,
As soon as you step in the keep, you're involved in court politics.
I know it's very true.
You just overhear a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I tell her that's good to know. I'm glad you told me about this.
Well, I will continue my walks. See what else might be said. I'm sorry to burden you with this. Interesting. So you guys dine. Anything else you want to cover? We were going to wrap this episode up early.
Yeah. I think that's
I don't want to.
Everything. Can call that conversation there. So she's planning to leave like after lunch then?
No, she'll probably, I mean, since you get as in a day or two, you can tell that she's still, can tell she's sort of still stooped, and
right.
She's like you. She's just zapped.
Right.
So just her willpower her motivation is just gone.
Right.
She just
to travel along on the roads. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you probably cross back to the hall, and you just had to leave your door open just so you guys can call across to one another and pass the time. So it's early afternoon. And I think we'll wrap this session up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, some interesting developments, definitely. Well, guys, that is another episode down. Thanks always for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you think we're doing a good job, then don't forget to like and subscribe. If you think you're doing a great job, hop to donorbox.org. You see the link right there, and send us a little love. Max has a great YouTube channel as well, and he discusses the role of music and original soundtracks in their role in video games. So go check that out. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use almost every session for Brise. You can find more of their work at artstation.com/Tortolua. I've written a novel that I'm pretty pleased with called A Shore Too Far, and you can find that on Amazon. Max, why don't you say goodbye to these lovely, lovely people?
I'll say goodbye to everyone except Quinn, because he
came late. Burn. That's a burn.
No, glad you were able to join us at the end there, Quinn. And we'll see you all next week to continue the epic adventure. 169. Stay tuned.
That's right.